Hey guys, what's up? Josh Mall with Swimming Pool Science, and here's a little shout out to all of our weekend do-it-yourselfers and wannabe pool guys. I want to give you guys kind of a bare minimum of what you should have with you, whether it's at home, working on your own pool, or you're just starting out in the pool business. Here's what you got to have to encounter the common things or take care of the common things that are out there. We're going to start over here, and I carry just about all this stuff right here in a little this little tote bag here, which works great. I don't ever leave home without this. I sometimes leave my other tools at home, but I don't ever leave home without this. So let's start. We'll just start over here. We'll work our way through. I've got a couple different kinds of lubes and silicones. Now, do not get silicone sealer confused with lubrication, but I at least carry one or two different sizes of lubes, a little bit of silicone. I never know when I might need a little bit of this to seal up a leak on a suction side fitting or something like that. And of course, you got to have the lube when you're applying certain O-rings and things like that, or greasing things. You want to have a good lube. Also, with that silicone and lube, you want to have a rag with you. Always have a rag. You want to wipe your hands off. You want to wipe things off. You want to stay clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. This is important. You want to have this rag. Various nut drivers and screwdrivers. These are important too. So we got our what is this? 7/16 right here. So when I'm doing my stay right pumps, things like that, this really comes in handy, especially for pool lights and things. Got 3/8 right here. I got 5/16 right here. Quarter inch. Got to have the quarter inch when you're working on the back of motors. You got a lot of quarter-inch fasteners for doing wires and things like that. These are important. Screwdriver, flathead, of course. Look at the end of that. Sometimes they use this as a chisel. Sometimes that's the way it's got to go. But flathead's important. Phillips. Sometimes this is a little too long. I normally have a little shorty Phillips with me, but I think my son Miles has it somewhere, and he's 4.5, so looks like I'll be going to the store for a new one. I got my tiny screwdrivers. These are the ones I use when I'm working on aqua links and control systems. They got those small wires. You got to get in there and unscrew small little tiny things. Also, make sure you have a good, high quality form of electrical tape like I have here. I never leave home without it. It's a good thing to have, so make sure you have that. This right here, this little wire, when I'm troubleshooting heaters, that's so I can jump electrical circuits. So not to where I'm like, hey, let me just stick this in a breaker box, but you got low voltage stuff, you need to troubleshoot, you need to test to make sure, you know, isolate a sensor, maybe a flow switch or something like that. That's where this is going to come in handy. Also right here, alcohol prep pads. These are important when installing seals on pumps, because you know, you're not supposed to touch those, and even a little bit of sweat, even a little bit of debris on your hand will cause a seal to wear prematurely. So we want to make sure we have our alcohol prep pads for cleaning. A marker. You never know when you got to mark fittings and things like that. I got a couple extra wire nuts here. I've also got my electrical tester. This is a big one. You need to know, okay, a pump's not working at a pool. Is it the switch or is it the pump? You got to be able to isolate this stuff, so that's important too. Make sure you have that. Let's go back up here to the second row. Pliers, little channel locks. I got these. Big channel locks. Be careful. We use these on unions, but we do it carefully because they're plastic and they're expensive, so watch out. Needle nose pliers. You need these for getting in pumps, different things. Maybe you got a piece of debris, something like that, stuck down a pipe. You got to get in there, pull it out. It's important. Of course, on our electrical troubleshooting, you know, when you're redoing, maybe rewiring a pump or something like that, got to have a decent set of electrical pliers. And our lineman's pliers, these are great for pulling, twisting wires. So when you're wire nutting, you know, more than 2 or 3 wires at a time, you get these on there, you twist them, you get your wire nut on there, you're golden. This guy right here, this is a big one. This is an impeller cleaning kit. It comes with a great set of giant tweezers. Not only are they great for picking noses, but great for getting into impellers without having to split the pump. These are great. Now, this is a special kit I bought, but you can go down to a place like Harbor Freight where they have quality tools, and they have stuff like this there, so you can get a cheap set. It's really easy to do, and they're handy dandy. Let's see what else we have here. Got our wrenches, the big ones. The pool industry is not upgraded to the metric system. You got to have 7/16. You got to have 1/2 inch. You got to have 9/16. Also, got to have a utility knife. This one, of course, I've used this too many times as an actual chisel, so it's time to replace the blade, but this is handy when you're cutting backwash hose, things like that, so you want to make sure you have that too. Crescent wrench, you want this. The hammer, you got to have the hammer, sometimes you got to tap those filters, take care of that. That's important too. And like I said, it all fits in a nice tote. This is my partner Tommy's tote that he carries around. I kind of got him onto this craze and it works well. Now, course, we got to be able to test the water. We got our mobile lab here. Let's start with our Taylor K2005 test kit. This is a big one. This one you can do just about everything with the exception of like total dissolved solids, phosphates, and metals, things like that. So this is going to get you 99% of your problems right here are going to be solved and figured out by this test kit. So if you hear that background noise and music, that's one of our pool customers right next door enjoying their pool. So that's a good sound for us and that makes us feel good. Anyways, back to the video. Got this guy, the SGS Instruments, just picked this up today. This is a salt temperature and total dissolved solids meter. Now, weekend pool guys, you know, you take care of your own pool and that's it. This is not so important. You can run your water down to your local pool store. They have this down there, they can test for you. But guys, pool guy wannabes, you guys that are out there doing pool stuff, this can be important. You know, you got high calcium, but where are your total dissolved solids at? This is gonna tell you on the fly in the field. Also gives you the temperature. If you're trying to run saturation index, you got to know the temperature and you don't trust that thermometer in the pool. This is going to tell you. This one's really neat because it tells you salt, it tells you total dissolved solids, and it'll actually back out to give you net total dissolved solids after you subtract out the salt if you can't do subtraction. Anyways, so this is a pretty cool tool. I used it a little bit today and real happy with how that one's working. Also, phosphate test kit, we use this AquaCheck one. This is important. Phosphates here, at least in Arizona, they're an issue. You know, your weekend pool guys, once again, homeowners, not so important. You can always run a sample down and they can check this for you at the local pool store. So, things that are good to have, you got to know what's going on, but this is the bare minimum of what you're going to have to carry around, with the exception of maybe this, but all this other stuff here, I don't leave home without it. And there's a lot more you can carry. You look at a pool guy's truck and you see it's filled to the brim with not only parts but tools and all that stuff. So it does pay to be prepared, but when I'm troubleshooting, this is my go-to right here. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.